The Scream Murders, Part 3. Pictured behind me is 13-year-old Ashley Murray. On January 17th, 1999, him and his two friends were on their way to a nature reserve near Harrogate, UK. He was with 14-year-old Daniel Gill and 15-year-old Robert Fuller. They were trying to break into a bird-watching hut at Birk Crag. They were having a hard time breaking into this bird-watching hut, and so one of the boys suggested that they go down to the bottom of the crag. Not entirely sure what a crag is, but British colloquialisms are just a little from my head. The boys told Ashley to go down first. On their way to the bottom of the crag, he heard a bag open and some rustling. He was quoted by saying, "The next thing I knew, I was being stabbed in the face." Daniel and Robert stabbed Ashley 18 times. They stabbed him in the face as well as places all over his body. They wrapped his body in a bin liner and they left him for dead in the woods. Ashley didn't die. He was laying there in the forest for 40 hours, unable to move or speak. He was discovered by the dog of an elderly man who was walking through the area. He was suffering from hypothermia, dehydration, and paralysis. Ashley spent 9 months in the hospital, receiving many surgeries for his injuries. After questioning Ashley for 15 minutes, they were finally able to make out the names of the people who had done this to him. This is 14-year-old Daniel Gill, and this is 15-year-old Robert Fuller. They had seen the movie Scream and were motivated to carry out this horrendous attack on one of their best friends. They were detained and they were sentenced to 6 years at a detention center. 6. They were released after 3 years on good behavior. Ashley never fully recovered from this attack, developing a lifetime of trust issues as well as permanent disability. His big toe had to be amputated from the frostbite he developed after laying in the forest for 40 hours. As an adult, he had moved on with his life. He had moved into his own apartment. He was more or less able to take care of himself, got himself a girlfriend, and he was still living in Harrogate, UK. He also said that he saw Gill and Fuller walking about around town as if nothing had ever happened. Unfortunately, in 2012, Ashley Murray crashed his Porsche into a car and was killed in the accident. This was one of the most bizarre endings to one of these cases of any of the ones that will be mentioned in this miniseries. I don't understand how they did not spend the rest of their lives in prison. And if they were in America, they would have. Like and follow for part 4.